Episode 147. Be the quiet lion, not the barking dog.
You're listening to the very best podcast in the world on health, wealth, and happiness. Please remember to leave a review and share with all your friends and family. And here is your host, Lars Hilser.
And it's Tuesday, almost Humpty. Humpty Dumpty. So welcome to the 147th episode of the very best podcast in the world. Your only source in the universe for health, wealth, and happiness, and lion, kitty cats, and doggies. What an exciting episode ahead of us. Seriously, though. We are going into the week where we're going to present the 150th episode of the very best podcast in the world. And that's pretty fucking exciting. I never thought I would make it, past episode 20 when I started this trip. But the positive feedback that keeps on coming is rewarding. And the reason this whole thing turned from a fucking satire, persiflage against, these motivate yourself bullshit people that try to rip you off into something that actually helps people was encouragement enough to stretch it, over 147 episodes and probably a lot more to come. Again, the promised land, the promised thing is about really the sharing is caring principle of this fucking podcast. If you listen to an episode and you resonate, not necessarily yourself only, but you immediately comes to mind that, Uncle whoever is having a problem with an issue that is covered in one of the episodes and it might be helpful for them, send them the link to the episode. You can do so either through your, most favoritist podcast listening platform. We're pretty much on fucking all of them. Right. Or you can do so by visiting the very best podcast in the world.com. And under every single episode, there are social sharing links, which should work to send the episode to Uncle Bob. Period. If you came across this podcast by chance, make sure to subscribe, give it a chance to kind of sink in for 100 episodes or so, and then you can still, I don't know. So, kitty cats and doggies is what we're going to be covering today in a very bizarre way. Title is The Quiet Lion, Be the Quiet Lion, Not the Barking Dog. And the reason I chose the title was a stupid motivational bullshit meme that I found somewhere on one of these unsocial networks. And something very interesting occurred to me. Many moons ago, when I worked, I didn't work. Well, yeah, technically I was enrolled and worked as a member of a voluntary fire department. It's a thing here in Germany. We signed up with a bunch of buddies when we were 17 because there was free beer. And the motive was interesting. And so anyhow, it turned into something that I found entirely or insanely curious and tickled my curiosity, taught me shitloads of things. Particularly on how to deal with stressful situations correctly so that you don't endanger, other people's lives when you are in a stressful situation, and so on and so forth. And in these 20 plus years that I was in that joint, a lot of interesting situations came through my life, out of my life, through my life, whatever. And one of them was during the trainings that we had outside of the department in the fire department school. Yes, there is such a fucking thing. And what I learned there, particularly in the battalion chief training, which was rather extensive and taught you a lot of really interesting shit, by the way, was that you had a lot of loud, presumably dominant people in the group that were, chugging away at everything. They knew a lot of shit, presumably. Turned out they didn't really. And they were interesting characters because they failed rather quickly. So instead of being a marathon runner, they were like the sprinters and kind of put all their energy into the mix immediately to motivate people. Other group members, they were helpful, right? They were not asshole kind of, wannabe alpha male type of people. They were very, very interesting characters in that they really came into the training with shitloads of energy, with shitloads of motivation, which they shared altruistically with the other group members. But the phenomenon of these people was that they were burnt out a week or two into the training. Some of them quit because they, kind of noticed that they weren't up to the challenge, that it wasn't for them. And the majority of them, though, however, started to lose their energy kind of like after 2 weeks. And that was insanely interesting to observe, because they were, while helpful to the group, motivating others, helping them studying, helping them during the exercises, giving away hints, which in a stressful situation you tend to oversee, and they were kind of like under the hand giving signs to what you were looking over, et cetera, et cetera. But they were really not right in it for the long run. And that was very interesting. Again, and while the most interesting thing that I have to kind of be a pain in the ass about is this energy ejection that you do throughout a longer term project has to be balanced, right? Yeah, motivation is good, but leave enough over for yourself, right? To be able to carry on this long distance that usually you have to go through. And then, kind of not share everything with the group, but have enough motivation left for yourself to be able to get yourself through the situation also, right? It's got to be this balanced thing of motivation. And I think that's the point I tried to get across. So today's episode is going to be under 10 minutes. Can you fucking believe it? So in that sense, yeah, it's really about, being a graceful person, but not really barking and being loud and, trying to present something that you're actually not. It's about really having this pot of 100 liters of energy and drinking only enough for the day so that you don't waste it, so that you have, perhaps even some left at the end of what you are actually going through. In that sense, I hope you have had your successful day, and I hope this kind of gives perspective to a lot of you out there who, try to present yourself as something that you're not. And in that sense, yeah, if you've had your successful day, have a good night, and we'll be in touch tomorrow when we're going to talk about if you're afraid to ask, you're afraid to learn. A very interesting episode I put together. So in that sense, peace out. Take care of yourselves, and make sure to share the love with other people, and we'll be in touch tomorrow. Peace out.